Hi, this is Sandy Kastel with WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, and we just finished recording our show on KLAV, 1230 AM radio, and I'm here
at noon.
At noon.
Not 12:30.
At noon, that's right. And we have to remind everybody that it's 12:30 on the dial, but it's at noon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm here with Amy Frost, who's on the WIMA Advisory Board, and also Linda Knudson, who is an artist that, what do you have, what is your title, like you say, of nature? Where you read?
Well, I don't really, I just say sculptor and carver, and they're one and the same, you know, but you can't have one without the other.
And you talked about recreating, that you're taking a piece of wood or that has already been created, obviously, and has a spirit of its own, and then you are recreating it.
Right, because, you know, the trees are really the living elders of the earth, and they really need, we as consumers, all of us, we really need to take a closer look at what's around us and how we're destroying, we're raping everything, and we need to just sort of back off a little bit and get in tune with ourselves, because there's, I mean, take a walk in the forest, go up to Mount Charleston, or do something, but get in touch with nature.
And you're right, we have a lot of beauty around here. We have the Red Rock Mountains, we have Sunrise Mountain, you know, we've got the lake, Lake Mead. I mean, you know, we forget about the lake.
Yeah,
and you can go kayaking and boating and painting out there.
That's right,
finding beautiful
you
pieces.
Go down to Colorado, go down to Willow Beach, go down the Colorado River, I mean, you know, just to get, and feel it.
Feel.
What do you need? Valley of Fire.
Valley of Fire, yeah. Take a lot of water, take a lot of water.
Yeah, no.
Wherever you go in Vegas, during the heat, please, of summer, please take a lot of water. And did I say take more water? No. Anyway, so Amy, you talked a little bit about inspiring, what was it, the selling with intention.
Selling with intention, follow through, coming, you know, and it's all the basic things that you would do for anything. What is the intention? What are my gifts and talents? How do I bring them to the table? What is my ideal client? A lot of things we're going to be talking about in the future.
Right.
And like I said, the mentoring is really critical to that, and really finding people. Again, in the future, I want to talk about patronage.
Right.
You know, because that's how artists have, you know, been able to do their art throughout history, is finding patrons.
Right.
So
and you just mentioned, which we didn't mention on the show, but you just mentioned that Jennifer had patrons that helped her get her studio built out in California.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once you create a buyer's base, then you're creating a clientele and followers. And it's like once you get the first one or two out, then you know you begin to get the confidence back into yourself, and now you've got people that come to see you, that call you, and that's what you want. And it's just getting
patron,
past
stalker,
that stage.
you know.
I think, like what we were talking about, as young artists, we grow up, and as children, when we start to explore the arts, sometimes your parents don't always understand. They might think it's cute, but then when you say, "Oh, I want to be an artist," they're not always as supportive as we want them. How were your parents? Were they supportive of you?
Well, they were, but I came from an era that, you know, I was raised on a farm, and you know that was not, you know, who thought about it? You know, I would sit and do some drawings. My mom said, "That's really cute," but they never went past that stage. I didn't come into myself until the '80s, and then that's when I just sort of, you know,
blossomed.
Yeah. And then of course I'm just now blossoming again. I guess it's ongoing, because I'm, you know, breaking out of the box more and more and getting into more and more things.
Right. Well, you got involved. You got involved in WIMA.
Yeah, that's right. That was my first step.
That's
huge.
Yeah.
Part of my blossoming.
well, that's true. And I think the thing about being an artist is we continue to grow.
Yes.
We just don't stop unless we stop ourselves.
That's true. We are our own stumbling blocks very often.
It's just like we're doing this workshop this weekend called Empowering Women Workshops, and it's for men too, but primarily we're getting a lot of women in the organization. And the thing of it is we've got people that are going through different stages of life, and they don't always know how to get out there. And in our organization, if they join us, we're doing different events, and we're doing mixers, so that they can not only network, but they can start seeing that other people are out there doing this, even if they're starting later in life.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, look at Grandma Moses. She was in her 90s. I mean, look where she went. Well, she's there now, but I mean, you know, look, I mean, she had a little bit of the 30 seconds of fame or whatever. But and you don't really think of people like that, but it's there and it's available, and the only person that's your biggest stumbling block is yourself. Yeah. And
Amy, you were talking about, you've done a lot of different things too, you know, so you've gone through a lot of different steps to get where you are today.
I think everything builds on everything too. You know, all those skills and talents, and they lead you to a new set of skills and talents. I know with my family, my dad was a good artist, but he never felt good enough, so he went into the military became a B-52 navigator and never went back to his art. So, you know, that's one reason I think I'm drawn to help artists, because I don't want them, you know, he had a good life, but I think there was a part of him that was always sad.
And you know, but on the other side of that, it is good when people find a vocation that they can do to support their family.
Absolutely. And most people, that's what they're going to do.
And sometimes you have to do that, especially if you're a man and you have a family to support. You need to put food on the table, and that's probably, you know, and then. But it would be nice if you could keep a little bit of that in your life.
Find a way to have it in your life sometime.
Find a way, because, like you said, you felt that there was a little bit of sadness in that he didn't have his art in his life. And a lot of people that I've met, that are they've grown up, they had children, then they put everything on hold, and then when they are ready, when they're empty nesters, and then they think, well, gee, what was I try to say, what were you passionate about then? You know, bring that back into your life and go explore it. Go take a class and do it. You don't have to do it on a big scale. You can do it little ways.
And so many people that I've been into will say, well, I don't have the tools. You know, if you've got a mom, a dad, or grandparent that can put you into your first computer or an iPad, there's your tool, because there's nothing that you cannot accomplish on that tool.
Right.
And then I have another friend. I mean, she came out and she invented spandex, and she did the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders outfits and stuff. And I mean, when I go to her house, she says, and she had an entire studio. It was huge. Every tool that you could ever think of. She said, I just don't have the right tool. What are you talking about? You know, you start with a pencil and the bottle of glue. There you go. There's your tools right there.
Well, and Karla Rehm was on the show also. So we had Jennifer Main, Karla Rehm, Linda Knudson, and Amy Frost all on this show today. And what we're talking about is the business of being an artist, the business of being an artist. And sometimes that's a little challenging for us as artists to do, because we can create the artwork, we get lost in it, we explore it, we're passionate about it, we spend hours and hours and hours and hours creating it, and a lot of expense sometimes, especially if you're a sculptor. And like you said, even having the tools to be a sculptor, you have to buy those tools to do that. You invest your time and effort into learning, whether you get your education by doing, or you just doing it in life, or if you go and have an education by going to college, which we were talking about that. You know, some people go to college and get their art degree. Some people go to college and get a business license, and then they do their art. You know? So we're exploring all of these things so that we can help artists to find a way to take their artwork and then put it out into the world. And sometimes that means investing in their art, or getting a patron, which is what Amy's going to be talking about next week. And we're going to talk about a lot of this as we go on each week, because we, throughout history, have needed patrons to help us with certain aspects of it.
There's plenty of people who have money that aren't inclined towards art, but they love art and they want to foster it, and they love to see artists grow and be part of that.
But it's also that we have to ask for it.
That's right.
Yes,
exactly.
If we don't ask for it, how are we going to ever get it?
That's true.
And I know that's been a challenge for me too, because I've always gone along and said, oh, I'll do this. Well, I'm going to do this, you know. So and yet, if we can get a little help from our friends that are out there to become a member of WIMA, be a sponsor of either our radio show or one of our events, or a portion of our events, or they can donate to the WIMA Scholarship Fund. All of these things are great ways for our listening audience and for our supporters of WIMA and Women in Music and Arts, and the arts that are out there that need to be supported. Then we can all make a difference in the world and keep the arts alive. So we're glad that you joined us today, and we're looking forward to talking to you next week, Wednesday at noon on KLAV 1230 AM radio, 1230 on your dial at noon Wednesday. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.